All right, so we are going to be labeling a riser detail that was created with SketchUp, and then we exported it as a 2D DWG file. And whenever we do this, we export it twice. First time will be without hidden line shown, which is this one, and then our seed with SketchUp. Second one will be with hidden line shown. And the reason for that is sometimes when we export from SketchUp into CAD, depending on what the 3D file where it was originally created that we're using in SketchUp, sometimes they don't show up right. But then when we export it with the hidden lines, it'll have the features that are missing. And so we'll just copy those things over, but it'll have more than we need. So we just add the components that are necessary to make it look good. So the first thing here, after we've cut and pasted into our file, I'm in our template for NFPA 13 drawings, and this is a pretty typical riser. Probably goes in about at least 3/4 of the projects 13 projects that we do here. It's called a shotgun riser. There's a double check out in the vault, so all we need is this simple shotgun riser with a shutoff valve. It's got a monitored butterfly valve. There's also a flow switch. I think this specific detail is a Victaulic, if I remember correctly. And so we're just gonna, first thing we're gonna do is select this one on the left. That's the main one we're gonna use. And it'll come in on this layer 0, and we want to change that to the title layer. So I'm going to hit escape now, and so all of this is on our title layer. You'll notice that these little arrows are still gray, so they will need to be exploded. Hit the explode button right here, and now they match everything else. They're on the title layer. The other thing that we do is I take these dimensions and I put them on this title reference layer that does not print. There's actually a line already there that it didn't mean to be there. I want to show you what that is. The other thing is on the title reference layer, which this is just like a construction line layer I use, I'm going to connect those, but it doesn't print. Anything that's on this title reference layer doesn't print. So we're in model space right now, and we're done as far as this is concerned. So I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to go to my FP1 layout tab here, and I've already got it set up here. But we will, put the riser assembly. That's one of the last things we do when we're laying out a drawing. So we will adjust the size as necessary if we're trying to fit everything on one page and we got, a smaller space in this. We will scale it down, and riser detail doesn't really need to be to scale as far as I'm concerned. If we'll make it to scale if we can, if it'll fit. But if we have to, fire sprinkler contractors want to pay for having as few pages as possible printed. I mean, it just makes sense. It's simpler if we can fit everything. A lot of jobs you can fit everything on one page, but you got to get creative with laying stuff out. So you'll have the rest of your page laid out, and then you'll fit this somewhere and scale this accordingly to fit in the space that you have. Then after that, you'll take all of these notes and we're going to label everything up there. And it's real important that these are all in a line. So we're going to go over how we do that too. There's a few different ways. The first thing I want to label, I'm going to start at the bottom, and supply is a 4-inch supply by others. we've already got it filled out that way because it's the 13 system. It's the most common thing. Yeah, most of the contractors that I'm working with are not doing the underground as well. Some are. If they are doing it, we would just remove the by others. It would be more specific probably. A lot of times we don't even know what's going in when we're producing these. There's an underground contractor usually providing his own drawings. And so for calculation purposes, we will assume that it's going to be ductile iron if we don't know, just because that's kind of worst case scenario for flow. If they install, the next most common thing here is going to be Blue Brute. Maybe go by a different name where you're at. I think I can't remember what the specific name for that type of pipe is. But anyway, you know, if they end up using that, it's just going to have better flow characteristics, so it shouldn't be a problem. So the next thing we're going to go up to is we want to label the finished floor. We're just going to be kind of moving from bottom to top here. Now, to make sure that these are lined up, if we select that and copy it, as long as we have ortho on, it'll stay aligned. If I turn ortho off, you know, we're going to have problems. But then if I do that, the next node I want is finish floor. But then I have a node up here that says that. So I could just copy that one, or I could, you know, oops, everything needs to be in caps lock. So now, you know, I did that, and it's, I don't know, move this over, then I think that looks nicer. But these are aligned. It was kind of, you know, that was kind of a pain to have to double click and then Control A. I messed up typing finish floor, you know, that's kind of cumbersome. So, you know, why we're using CAD. We typed it once, why type it again? So an easy way to line things up is I'll just create a construction line. There's 2 points that we need to align with. So I'll just put that on there. Our next note we want is we're going to label the hole in the floor for the size requirements of the 2019 edition of NFPA 13, because that's what we're working with at the time of making this video, and specifically 18.4.2. All right, so let's grab that, and I'm just going to go down here. I'm gonna use snap, not snap to none, I want snap to nearest, which I probably need to hit again because I canceled the first one out. Move this arrow a little bit. Oops, oh, there we go. Okay, next thing we have, typically we are either going to have contractor be starting from 1 foot above the finished floor or 5 foot from building. And more often than not these days, I would say that we are just doing 1 foot above the finished floor. So that's what this is. Fire protection contractor to start work at, I should say 4 inch, 4 foot. Grooved flange adapter. What's going on here? There we go. Okay, so the next note, what do we got? Next thing coming up is at this same location, we need to put a node for the hydraulic calculations. This is node 1 at where we're going to be our base of riser, because the change from ductile iron pipe to now steel pipe for our riser. Okay. And that is also over here in our legend. Node number 1 is the base of the riser. Okay, next thing we have moving our way up is the flexible coupling. And so I'm also, you know, you want to leave a space between these that is at least the size of the text in between. I'd say probably ideally 2, which is, these are, I can't remember. So I'm just stop getting sidetracked. Let's go. Next thing up is we're going to label. This does not apply to this situation. Some jurisdictions have a hose connection that they require to do what they call a forward flow test, but we're not putting that on this generic one. In our area, the city of Portland is the main place that requires that. That is because they do simulated hydrant flows, because they're afraid to actually flow their hydrants because it will destroy their water system, because it's a hodgepodge of 100-plus-year-old pipes with a few new ones in between. Okay, this is not that is, though. We are going to say, we're going to label the pipe. This is going to be 4-inch. Schedule, oops, let's go caps lock. Schedule, come on now. Schedule 10, steel. That's good. I like to save often just because, you know, started using AutoCAD on AutoCAD 10. Today I'm happen to be using Draftsight, but all basically the same. And historically crashed a lot, so we save often. So we labeled our pipe type. The next thing, we want to label this control valve. So I'm snapping to that endpoint, and then I'm going to snap to nearest on this line. Let's put it like right there, and then move the arrow up. Come on. It's supposed to stretch automatically, but Draftsight's glitching out, so if I just select it like that and hit S, enter, and then do it, it works sometimes when it's not responding. Yeah, over the years I've used AutoCAD, AutoCAD LT, Draftsight. I started using Draftsight when it was free. This will probably, I don't know, this might be the last year I pay for, it's now a subscription. It's a toss-up whether Draftsight's better than AutoCAD LT for the price. But now I've just recently started using CMS Intellicad, which I was able to purchase for a one-time fee. And so I'll probably be showing that in my videos more soon. Okay, so we labeled our shutoff valve. Next thing is this assembly right here, which I believe we already have here. Yep. It's a Victaulic 747M or equivalent is what we put. If we don't know what the contractor's using, usually we know based on the relationship with the contractor, but a lot of times I might send this to start out with. If it's somebody we've not worked with, I'll just put that. This is what I know, and send it as a preliminary and ask them if they're okay with this or if they use any different components, and they'll let us know before we send the final documents. So there we go. The next thing I have on my list is to label this drain, which we have on the other side. Look at that, I had the steel label on the other side already as well. Oh well. Okay, oops, if you didn't see that, this is about the drain. This is the code reference in 2019, NFPA 13. And the reason this one looks different is because it has a background mask on it already set up. You can do that to any of these, but it's more common on the right side of our detail here to have to block things out. So that's why it's already set up that way. I'm just going to set this so that it's pretty close. That looks good there. Now this purple line does not print, but you can see how the background mask is blocking it out. It would do the same if I put it over that. It just makes it so this is more legible. If you want to see how to do that, you can just click on any one of these, and over here in my properties tab, if you see here the background mask option, I just have selected yes. We can change it to no, and it goes away. You can see now, you can see this line here. But again, purple line I use as a construction line. It's just the outline of our viewport here, so it won't print. Okay, what's next on our list here? Our spare head box. So I think I've got one here already. Spare sprinkler cabinet with a supply of at least 6 sprinklers. Again, snap to nearest. And that looks good. I don't know why snap's not working. I mean, the stretch should be automatically stretching when I grab that grip, but it's not working. It's okay, make it happen. Okay, next item is the alarm bell. And many of the contractors we're working with do not do alarm systems. I don't know why I moved this time instead of copy. It really does not matter. So since they don't install the alarms, we've got this note that just says system sensor electrically operated bell provided by fire protection contractor, wiring by others. Okay, what do we got next? My top of riser. Oops, I'm gonna do this first. It's label. Let's see. I get rid of that and do this one up because I don't have my construction lines on this side. I'm gonna turn on ortho so it goes straight up, and I'm gonna go over here. I'm just gonna double click on this note. Control A. Oops. Missed control, I guess. Try that again. Control A. That selects it all. Control C. Copies it. Control A. Now Control V. Pastes it. Let me move my arrow. Snap still not working. Try stretch and enter. Let's try it again. Stretch, enter. There we go. Let's turn off ortho for a second. Move that up a little. That looks good there. Next thing is our sway brace. Again, I'm just going to do this one by copying up. That looks good. Say 4-way seismic brace. That looks good. And again, we are going to have a flexible coupling. Oh, and this is the flexible coupling that we'll label. Let's see, let me just do that real quick, I guess. Okay, make this look good. That's not too bad. Here, let me get my node in here first. I need this top of riser. Let me see how this is all gonna fit together. Do something like that. Keep ortho on, make this look good. Let's put it right there. Pull this arrow down. It'll let me. Go, turn on ortho, put that right there, looks good. And we want to say, what do we want to say? Flexible coupling. Let's just copy that, Control C, and one more note left, and we will be done. And that is at the top of the riser, which I don't even know, do I have one up here? Oh, if we had this, we would probably label that as well. But, oh, there's flexible coupling. We're not reducing or anything, we're staying at 4-inch. So what we're gonna do, I'll just copy this one up. Oops, let's get ortho on. That looks good. And we're gonna say 4-inch to wet system. It's good. Now if we had a manifold here with like multiple assemblies, we would have a label for each outlet. You might have a shotgun riser and then elbowing off here and have a dry system on the other side. Actually, I'd probably do this dry system straight off and have the shotgun off to the side. If you're a big enough building, we may have, 5 or 6 risers, who knows, all manifolded out. But that is basically it. That is good to go. Oops. Almost forgot something. One more thing. Right now, this 9'6" and 3 foot, this is the dimension, what it looks like coming from SketchUp. and it does not match our standard. And so that's why I put it on the title reference layer, just so we remember what it is. Then I take one of these and snap it to that other construction line. I'm gonna change this to 6. Oops, come on, hit the wrong button. Hit escape instead of enter. There we go. Now I can copy this and go, let me see, let's go 3 foot. And this is just matches our standard. SketchUp is a little difficult, at least for me. Maybe somebody here has had better experience, but the dimensions in SketchUp are probably one of the biggest things that holds me back for using it more for creating layouts and stuff. I mean, SketchUp has its own layout program, but I pretty much always end up exporting it as a CAD file, no matter what kind of detail I'm doing. And then doing all the callouts in AutoCAD or Draftsight, Intellicad, your pick, whatever your 2D DWG application is that you favor. So that's it. Please like and subscribe to get the next content we got coming. Thanks a lot, guys.